Welcome back to the Dividend Diplomats YouTube channel. You got your boys here, Lanny Burt, the mother effing Dividend Diplomats. Today, we are talking finally about this dividend stock that you have been asking us to cover for months now. We can't wait to run this one dividend stock that has a pretty solid yield that's down 20% over the last 52 weeks through our Dividend Diplomats dividend stock screener today.
Smash that subscribe button, guys. Give us a nice thumbs up. Show your dividend investors some love here. Let's get to 19,000 subscribers, guys. Come on. We know a lot of you come here and haven't subscribed, so make sure you do it. Because guess what? We're about to pull the band-aid on a 40 billion by market cap stock,
Ooh.
down 20%, like Bert said. And I can guarantee it, you've tasted it at least once in your life.
Yeah, that's ominous, isn't it? All right, so you know we're talking about a consumer staple stock, huh? Or you should assume that we're talking about a consumer staple stock with a great brand. And you know what, Lanny? That's exactly the company that we are going to talk about right now. This company, you're right, absolutely right, Lanny. Guarantee you, you have worked through this candy probably around Halloween time, right? Like
Oh
early
man, you're already dropping the
Halloween.
areas. You're dropping candy already on
Yeah, I
them.
already am going to candy. Let's talk through this. You know what, Lanny? Let's just get right into the reveal. We are talking
Take the
about.
wrapper off.
Oh, I like it. I like the candy theme here. Take the wrapper off. We're talking about Hershey, ticker symbol HSY. I know a lot of people. I have seen this in the last several months. Everyone keeps saying, "What about Hershey? What about Hershey?" You guys should look at Hershey. You should look at Hershey. You know what? You're absolutely right. We should look at Hershey because they're a great legacy company headquartered in Hershey, Pennsylvania. Yes, they do have an amusement park there too. So there is that brand, of the Hershey. Some of their bars, cool. It's a great list. Hershey, obviously, Heath, Kit Kat, Jolly Ranchers, Mounds, Twizzlers, Paydays, Milk Duds, Rolos,
Come
um,
on. You're missing a big one here.
Icebreakers. Who am I missing?
Did you say Reese's?
No, I didn't say Reese's. I did not say Reese's. You're absolutely right. How could I forget Reese's? Reese's peanut butter cups are my absolute favorite. You got Whoppers, you got Skinny Pop Popcorn, Paydays, Pirate Booty for all those parents out there. Hershey Kisses. So many great brands. I'm putting this one last because I hate them. I do not like York peppermint patties. So you gotta let us down there
Man,
know
I
in that
love
comment
yours.
section below. You do? I don't like them. Let us know down there. Do you like York peppermint patties? And if not, what are anyway, just let us know what your favorite Hershey brands are.
Guys, this is Hershey stock. Ticker symbol is HSY. Yes, they are down 19.5% in the last 52 weeks. Relatively flat so far here in 2024 as the stock market's up, I don't know, between 7 and 8% right now. So they are lagging the market. They obviously lagged the market in 2024. And we always like stocks when people are running out. We always like to see if it's time for dividend investors to run in. Is there some undervaluation here? We're going to run them through the dividend diplomat stock metrics, guys. They're focused on the price to earnings ratio less than the S&P 500, the dividend payout ratio less than 60%, all that history of growing dividends, that history of making the chocolate even better.
Yeah.
And we'll look at the dividend yield. But Bert, I know you want to look at some Q4 and year-to-date sales and earnings and see what the heck they're looking for in 2024.
Yeah, we'll start with Q4 and then we'll talk about year to date here. They released earnings last month. Sales were 2.6 billion increase. It was basically about flat. Organic sales were flat too. So not a lot of growth on the top line Q4 over Q4. Net income was 350 million or $1.70 per share diluted, a decrease of 15%. Adjusted earnings were flat. I know we keep joking around about adjusted earnings per share and all the adjustments that go into there. So they found a way to add in 32 extra cents from earnings due to some one-time extraordinary items, some non-cash adjustments that went into that. Year to date, though, so even though quarterly sales weren't that strong, year to date, they were great. 11.1 billion is up 7% compared to the last year. Organic sales were up 7%. Net income 1.9 million was up 14%. Adjusted earnings per share is up 13%. So Q4 slow, probably because of seasonality. It's after the Halloween season. So Yeah, Q4 slow, but year to date, the results looked fantastic for Hershey's.
You know, what's interesting right now is that they are expecting a little bit of sales growth, but flat on the earnings in 2024. And I love this because they're saying flat as higher cocoa and sugar cost are creeping up. And it makes me just think like, yeah, I've actually been doing a little bit more of my own on the cocoa powder this year because I'm over 2 months strong of no caffeinated coffee. And my replacement's been a little bit of hot cocoa, which has a little bit of caffeine. But my cocoa intake's like 1,000% year over year right now.
Yeah, I love it. And it's funny the small ways that inflation trickles into this, because especially when you have um what am I trying to say? The products aren't that expensive. Like there's a cap for what you can charge for candies. Like if you try to charge $5 for like a 2 pack of Reese's peanut butter cups, nobody's gonna buy it. So you can only go so high on the revenue side. There's so only like you could only absorb so much of cost before it really starts impacting that bottom line.
Exactly, guys. So the question is, have you been buying Hershey stock? Do you own Hershey stock? Are you buying
Mhm.
what you eat?
Yeah,
Or are you eating what you own?
I love it.
Oh, let us know in the comments, guys. We're about to do it. We're about to play the sweet chin music right now, HBK style, tuning up the band here on Hershey's stock, guys.
Let's
Let's look
go.
at the metrics, Bert. Let's pull it.
Yeah, their price is 192.52. Earnings per share are 964. That's a PE ratio of 19.97. So it's below the S&P 500. And at first, my first reaction was, wow, that's really not that cheap, right? It really isn't that cheap. So let's look at them historically, because the one thing I know about Hershey's from my limited research is they are typically a high PE ratio. They're generally pretty expensive. And that's exactly what it is. When I pulled it up on Y charts, their 5-year average PE ratio was 26x. So they're significantly below their 5-year average PE ratio.
Wow.
Yeah.
Uh, hmm, hmm.
Put that
So
put that in your
undervalued relatively
portfolio.
to themselves.
Mm-hmm. Counts. We'll take it. We'll take it. Tell that to AT&T, Warner Brothers, tell that to Wall. I'm kidding. All right. Bad joke. Let's look at that payout ratio here. Their annual dividend's $5.48. It's a payout ratio of 56.85%.
Yeah, 57%. And with the flat earnings expectation, I feel like the expectation should be, you know, that the payout ratio is probably as high as they would really like to see it. Because when we get into the dividend growth, which they've been doing for 14 years at 11%, it leads me to believe that the dividend growth probably won't see double digits for the next year, just because of the flat earnings expectations right now. I'm
I very much agree.
maybe low to mid single digits, Bert,
I agree. Especially if they're already telling you in their guidance that there's going to be flat earnings and basically flat sales for those reasons. When
which
you
isn't a bad thing
no,
because then that obviously pushes the stock price down. The yield goes up to help make up for it in a way.
yeah, yeah, absolutely. Let's look at their yield. Their yield is 2.85%, and that's almost 1% above their 5-year average yield of 1.95%. So just like we said, they were showing undervaluation with the lower PE ratio in their average. They're also showing undervaluation because that yield is so much higher than their 5-year average yield.
Mm, so much. Yeah, that it's like almost like the peanut butter in the Reese's, just a little bit extra peanut butter than what they're historically giving you guys. If you
That's like
agree, let us know.
So to take that example, that's why you like early, not you, me. That's why I like the holiday ones where it's like the Easter egg or like the
Oh,
Christmas tree because
the
there is like
extra,
that's what you're saying, I think, in a nutshell.
or you get one of those like big Reese cups that's like the size of your hand. I think I have one in the cupboard downstairs, actually. I've never opened it. I'm afraid to see what it actually looks like. It's
All
true.
right, if we get to 1,000 likes on this video, Lanny's gonna open that.
Guys, like the video, like the heck out of it. Get your family members, get your friends just to like this video because
Do
I
you
do
want
want
to
to
see?
open that bad boy up.
Yeah, do you want to see Lanny open up a years old massive Reese's peanut butter cup?
Oh, oh, years with an ass old.
Yeah, yeah, 1,000 likes. Remember that. So we talked about the price. So let's summarize here. PE ratio is 20, payout ratio is 57%, 5-year dividend growth is 11.16%. 14 years of increasing the dividend with a yield of 2.85%. That's Hershey's, everybody. Let's slide over to the balance sheet though. Let's check out a couple interesting pieces. I'll have you in a second talk about the current and quick ratios here, Lanny. But one thing I wanted to call out was their debt, because I thought this was interesting. Because it's not as if they don't have a lot of debt. Their long-term debt's over 4 billion, and it's been pretty flat. The one interesting thing is when we went into their 10K and we pulled up like the maturity schedule for the debt, and it lists. We'll put it up here. It lists out when the note matures, the amount, and the interest rate. I was fascinated by how low the interest rates are on this debt. Like, they don't have this. They must have locked this debt in years ago when rates were low, because their highest non-debenture is 4.5%. Like, it's a very low debt, which is a good thing. That's great balance sheet management. They have debt, sure, but I don't care about it because it's locked in at very low rates for a long period.
Yeah. Yeah. Wow. Kudos to you, Hershey's. And as Bert was saying, the current ratio, current assets, current liabilities is about 1 times. Not the greatest, not bad.
No.
Quick ratio is at 0.52x, so that's when you strip out their inventory. That's about as low as I'd like to see it. So they're really at that floor there. So not the greatest liquidity, but they're, I think we've seen that before with other consumer staple stocks, kind of like your Proctors. I think they're kind of around that same niche.
Yep, I would agree. So that's Hershey's. Just a quick thought here. I agree with the viewers that have been saying Hershey's is worth looking at and worth monitoring and worth putting on your watch list. The metrics speak for themselves. They're not the cheapest, but from their historical standpoint, they're not. And great companies aren't cheap. I think that's the lesson we've learned.
Yeah, it could be a great stock to buy for your children or for your nephews and nieces, especially if they like candy. It's like, hey, buy them a share of their favorite chocolate company, guys. I'm also not running to buy because I'm trying to slim down my positions.
Right, but this is like kind of what I did with APD when I bought it. I slimmed down a bunch of positions into one. This is the type of company that I would consider for that, especially if that yield gets above 3%. It's not that far from it. It's at 2.85%. It would be a great potential at 3% from me.
Guys, let us know. Are you continuing to buy Hershey's at below $195 a share? Let us know in the comments below. If you haven't, smash that subscribe button. Remember, let's get this video up to 1,000,000 likes, 1,000 likes if we can. I'll bust out that big Reese cup. I'll crack it open and see what this thing looks like.
I don't even want to say if you're with us, you're against us, because I want everyone to be with us, because I want to see Lanny bust open this. That would be a fun YouTube short for us to put.
How about this? If you're not down with that, we got 2 words for you. Subscribe now.
Love it. All right, everyone. And then, I think we need to send the fools off, Lanny.
Ooh, how you gonna send them off, brother?
I don't know. I'm just happy right now. I'm excited thinking about Reese's peanut butter cups and Reese's.
Reese's. All right, guys, we're gonna catch you on the next Dividend Diplomat YouTube video, guys. Thanks for joining with us. Tune into tomorrow's episode. Check us out, baby.
Yeah, over and out. Boom.